Welcome to my space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin, and I'm here to share with you an easy, pretty birthday card made with a new paper pack in the January to April mini catalog. What do you say we get my face out of the way and we do some creating? All right. So the January to April mini catalog has a suite called Made with Love. And I've been making all kinds of Valentines with them, and you'll see them on my Scrappin with Joni blog and on YouTube. But it isn't just for Valentines. And we're going to use this very pretty, here, let me give you a better picture. Look at that paper. Like, and it'd make a great Valentine. But I did a birthday card because I need birthday cards. But I'm also thinking I might be using it for a Mother's Day card or a spring card or an Easter card. This is a great little paper. Oh, or a baby card. Wouldn't that be cute? So really, the card I'm making, you could use for any of those occasions because it's just whatever you put on the front here. And I did a birthday, but you wouldn't have to. So I'm going to show you how easy this card is to make. And I'm also using a ribbon that came as part of that suite. I went with crumb cake for my card base. Now this is bubble bath and you could have done that, but I think sometimes when you use like a neutral like crumb cake, it helps those other colors pop. And I haven't found a paper or a color yet that doesn't work with crumb cake. Probably my favorite neutral. So I have a standard card base and I'm just going to fold it in half. And if you're not sure what size a standard card base is, you just head over to my Scrappin with Joni blog and you can find all the measurements and supplies I use there. I have folded it, but now I'm going to use my bone folder just to give it a nicer fold. Then, can you see how this has some texture? Before I emboss it, I'm going to attach it to a white base. This is print paper, okay? It's not thin, but it's also not as firm as cardstock. And so sometimes when using an embossing folder, it doesn't always play nice, but if you attach it to cardstock first, it goes through beautifully. So here's what I have, and I'm just attaching it to what we might call a standard mat. Oh, look who measured wrong. Let's see what we did wrong here. Nope, this one must be measured wrong. Do you ever do that when you're cutting in a hurry? This should be 3 3/4 by 5, and it's clearly not. Well, we have the 5 part right, but we don't have the 3 3/4 right. So when I'm cutting, I'm just lining it up with the lip at the top, and this hand is holding it pushed against the lip, and the blade, which in the Stampin' Up one is the dark one, is going to push up also. So we're all working in the same direction. There we go. That's going to work so much better. Let's see if this makes more sense. Well, look at that. Now I can center it right in the middle. As I said, I'm going to be embossing this, so I don't want to use a great adhesive, multi-purpose glue, but it spreads out. And I don't want that to happen when I run it through the embossing folder because we're going to put pressure on it and the glue's going to spread, and then I'm going to get it out here in the card base where I don't want it. So this is a great job for a tape runner. We have 2 tape runners. Stampin' Up does Seal and Seal Plus. And I prefer the Seal Plus. I don't know, it just works for me. And sometimes, as you can see, I'm struggling a bit here. Sometimes your tape runners are going to work beautifully, and sometimes they're going to give you a little trouble. That just happens. Any adhesive may do that. You know, it's sticky. Sometimes it wants to stick on itself, regardless of the adhesive. Okay. This is going to go centered here, just like that. Then we're grabbing an embossing folder. And because it's new and I wanted to play with it, we grabbed it. But you could use any overall embossing folder. This is Hearts of Love, which is also part of that suite. And I like it because it's a great subtle background. I mean, you'd have to kind of really look to see that it's hearts, especially with a print. So I will use it for more than just Valentine's. I use for wedding, anniversary, baby cards. But I mean, it works beautifully for a birthday card. It's okay to have hearts on there. All right, we're going to use our cut and emboss machine. And when I get an embossing folder, I label it and I put what plates I need, meaning what plates am I going to put between this to run through the machine. I'm going to use plate 1, which you always use. I'm going to make sure that my Stampin' Up logo is on top and that the fold is going forward. And then plate 4 in this system is the dark gray one. And that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to run it through. And that's it. And now we've gone from pretty paper on white cardstock to textured pretty paper on white cardstock. And it really is a simple thing that adds a lot to your cards. There we go. Now, I added some ribbon here before I did my little sentiment. And my rule of thumb is if I'm just going to knot it, I'm not going to make a bow. I do approximately or at least 3 times the width. This is 4 inches across, so I'm going to grab 12 inches and maybe 13 for luck. Let's do 13 inches. I'm measuring at the bottom off the screen. I'm sorry, but my glass mat has the measurements along the bottom. And so there we go. And then I'm going to grab a glue dot. And glue dots come on a roll. And when you open them up, you will see the glue dots. This one looks like someone was playing with, and I have paper everywhere. But I have an open glue dot here. This paper is just protecting these glue dots, so when I use them, they aren't going to stick to something else until I pull the paper up. I think someone maybe opened it and tore up more paper than they meant to and just stuck it back on. That happens. Okay, so I have a little glue dot here. I know, it's clear. It's hard to see. We're going to let the camera catch up. Or not. And I'm going to stick that glue dot roughly where I want the bow. This is not rocket science. Just put it somewhere near the bottom of your card. Then I'm going to slip this ribbon here around. Now, I know it's a clear dot and you can't see it. So you're going to have to trust me that I am making a knot right over where that glue dot is. And when I do that, the glue dot's going to hold that first knot in place for me. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to push it down to catch it. Okay? And I kind of do any adjusting. And I don't know why, but for me it works better. The tails hang the way I want them to if I tie it upside down. Not sure what that matters, but just the way it works for me. And then I'm going to tie it one more time. Now this ribbon is soft. It's not going to be bulky. It's going to be just what you want. Now see that little twist here? That's going to bug me. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to get it to go the way we want. There we go. Yep. And I'm just bending it. Okay. Now it's going to stay that way because we're going to put a sentiment over it. But before we do that, let's attach it to our card base. I'm going to take this bow and stick it underneath so they're both hanging down. There we go. Now, this is embossed. You can tell that, right? It's on a flat card surface. So this is where our multi-purpose glue comes in. And yes, it's twisted back here, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to see that but you and I, and you're not going to tell on me, right? So then we're just going to glue the back. Just like that. Here's our card base that we've already folded. And it's going to go right in here. And look how that bubble bath just really stands out against the crumb cake. It's like, yep, I was meant to be here. And apparently this ribbon wanted to twist anyway, so we're going to act like we want to. I'm not fighting it anymore. We're just going to let it be. So then I stamped from branching out, a stamp set branching out. You can find it, excuse me, on the blog post. I stamped the front of it, happiest birthday wishes, and on the inside, wishing you a day filled with many happy moments. Isn't that pretty? Also would be great for a wedding one or something else, but it's wonderful for a birthday. To punch that out, I stamped it on a scrap of paper, and then I used the Label with Love punch. So versatile. But you could use a circle or a square or a label you already have. Whatever works for you. I'm going to attach that with dimensionals because I want it to kind of pop up. And dimensionals, if you haven't used them before, are like little pieces of foam that are sticky. When you pull them off, they're going to stick to what you're attaching them to. Then you're going to peel the backs off. And I have off camera here a little, for lack of a better word, trash bowl. And that's where they're going, because you want to kind of corral them right away. Otherwise, they like to travel. They'll stick to your clothes. They're really staticky, so they stick to your clothes and your shoes, and they go everywhere. There we go. Happiest birthday wishes go there. Then we're going to trim this up, because I don't need it hanging that long. But I don't like to trim it until it's on the card, so I know where it's going to land. And sometimes that extra length, I struggle with arthritis in my hands, and they don't always do what I want them to do, and that extra length makes it a little easier for me to tie a knot. Okay. Now I think that looks really pretty, but there's a little more empty space than I want here. So I grabbed these embellishments. They're called rainbow adhesive back dots. Now I first grabbed them because I'm going to open it up. I have a lot in here. This is why I love these stamp cases, because I can kind of corral all of them, but they may jump out as I pop it open because there's so many. Let me show you a sheet here. They include the color Bubble Bath, but when I used it, it just got lost in there. But all of these are colors that work with it. So on this one, see here, but let's see. Oh, the blue's going to be too much. That one isn't doing anything for me. I think there's a reason I picked that one. I really like it. So I'm going to grab a sheet that I've already started, because I, don't need all these random sheets of them. And, well, this is calling my eye too. Let's see. Oh, it's just getting lost in there, guys. I'd like them to pop a little bit. So we're going to grab this. Now I'm going to use 3. Odd numbers are always more pleasing when you're adding embellishments. I tend to put 1 by my sentiment, and then the other 2 I put farther away. And you want to put them in a roughly triangular shape, which is as simple as one's here by itself, these 2 up here are closer together. These are relatively flat, so you can use the larger size, but that just adds a little more interest there. You have a textured background with just a few embellishments. It works great. As I said, for the inside, I stamped "Wishing you a day filled with many happy moments." And I could put this in here. That'd be nice. But it feels a little empty to me. So I have a 1/2-inch scrap of this paper. Like, what are you going to do with a 1/2-inch piece anyway? Let's use it on the inside. I'm going to put just a touch of multi-purpose glue there. And then I'm going to attach this. You'll notice this is longer than that. That's okay, because for me that gives me handles. But something jumped on the card. You're not part of this card. You get to go. All right. And then it's just going to get attached here. And while we're gluing, let's take care of the envelope. Because you and I both know we're not sending this pretty card out in a naked envelope. Like, seriously. Which would you rather get in the mail? You have a pile of mail, some of it's bills, some of it's junk mail, and then there's this card, envelope. And you could get it in this, or you could get it in this. You want this, right? That says something about the card you've made. It says to the person that's getting it, you are so special to me, I even decorated your envelope. And we're going to put glue just on the envelope flap. Here's a trick that's going to save you some mess. You always put glue on the smaller piece of the 2 papers you're gluing together. So this piece is 2 1/4 by 6, and as you can see, it's bigger than my envelope flap. If I put glue all over the back of here and then set it down, I'm going to get glue where I don't want it. If I put glue on the smaller piece of the 2 pieces, the glue's going to not move beyond it, which is why I put glue on here and not on this long strip of paper. Now, this paper has an up and down. This is clearly the top of the paper. The flowers are growing that way. This is the top of the envelope flap. So the top of the paper goes with the top of the envelope flap. We'll give it a good squish. All right, let's do a little trimming, and we're almost done with our very pretty card. Now, as I said, this is a card design and a paper that's going to work for all kinds. It would be a really cute Valentine, too. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I just have been making a ton of Valentines, and I thought I'd give you guys a little break from Valentines before I get back to making lots and lots of them. Okay, let's grab a tape runner. And we just need a little bit here. Seal Plus is really strong. That's going on the inside. And I wanted to show you that just because a paper pack is all about Valentine's doesn't mean you need it just for Valentine's. Let's use those papers for lots of things. One of the Valentines we're using for a Valentine workshop this month is made from the modern Christmas paper. So again, you can use them for lots and lots of things. Don't just limit yourself to what the paper pack is called, that you think you just have to use it for one holiday. All right. Look at that. Birthday card ready to go in the mail. That's a good feeling. I have one ready. I'll mail it today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.